Now the next recipe uses rigatoni. And rigatoni is something that I know that you are all familiar with because we've all had it with just tomato sauce. But today we're going to make it a little differently with meat and with more cauliflower. And this time we're just using regular generic cauliflower. So I'm going to put the rigatoni, which is a tubular type of pasta. Sometimes you find it without lines on it, and sometimes you find it with lines. And the lines are there to really hold the sauce. So they go into the pot. Remember to add salt. And then we want to get our sauce ingredients started. So let me get out a new pan here and get going. And now we want to put into our pan a little bit of olive oil. So add a little bit of olive oil to the pan. And I'm going to brown up some onions in that. So in go the onions. Let's stir that around. And this is a great recipe because you can make this one ahead, and it's a great casserole type recipe to have for company. Actually, the recipe will make 2 big pans full of pasta with broccoli, cauliflower, and with meatballs. Okay, so now here is my cauliflower all cleaned. And that we are going to bake. And to do that, I have brushed a baking pan with a little bit of olive oil. And then you simply take the cauliflower, put it in the pan, and to make really good meatballs, you've got to do several things. Let me get my bowl back. First of all, you want to have some breadcrumbs, and I mean fresh breadcrumbs. Not from soggy bread, but from good coarse bread that you have left over. From the bread that you baked, of course, by hand. And then to that, add some milk. You want to moisten those breadcrumbs. Get them into the breadcrumb mixture. Get the milk into the breadcrumb mixture. And give this a little bit of salt, and you can give this a little bit of pepper. And I like to add some pecorino cheese, which is sheep's milk cheese. So mix that all in well. Now let me see how we're doing here. I put the onions in first, and now I'm going to add the garlic. And always use fresh garlic in your cooking. It will make such a difference. You know, garlic that you buy in a jar in a store is really very old. Once you take the cap off, you're almost blown away by the smell of it. So it's really better for you to chop your own garlic fresh. It's time to put in the tomato sauce. And this is just 4 cups of homemade tomato sauce. I'll turn the heat down on that now. I'm going to add a little bit of oregano to that. That goes in. Stir that around. And now back to those meatballs. To make a really good meatball, and these we just want to have very small size, take and just roll it very carefully in your hand. You see, not putting too much pressure, just like that. Then wet your hands before you go on to make the next one. And that will prevent the meat from sticking to your hands. We put on the remaining meatballs, and now these go into a 350-degree oven for about 40 minutes, and the cauliflower goes into the top for about 30 minutes. And when that's baked, I have some for you in the bottom oven. They will look like this. You see? There they are. And here are the meatballs. And now all we need to do is drain the pasta. And let me see if it's cooked. Yes, I think it is. So it's going to go into a casserole dish. Let me move some of this out of the way. Get get out my bowl and get this out, because this is ready. Again, we're leaving a little bit of the water clinging right to those rigatoni. Put it in your bowl. Looks good, doesn't it? And now we need to combine some of the sauce. You want to put about a cup of sauce over the rigatoni and mix that in. Then you want to add your cauliflower. This looks really good. And the meatballs. Keep adding sauce as you go with each ingredient. So another cup of tomato sauce. You don't want to over sauce this, but you want enough to keep the mixture moist. Am I going to get this all in one bowl? I think so. You need a lot of pans for this recipe. And mix this all up. And I need more sauce, I can tell you that right now. So that's going to go in, and I sure hope Giuseppina is going to try my recipe. Get this really well mixed, and then have a baked dish ready. And carefully, I told you it made a lot. It will fill 2 pans. Get it into the dish, and then you're going to want to give this a little extra sauce and an extra sprinkling of pecorino cheese. So doesn't that look good? Here's my cheese, and now the oven is on. And you want to cover this with a piece of foil. So there's the pecorino cheese. Here's the foil, and it goes into the oven at 350 degrees for about 30 minutes.